Good morning and welcome to the April monthly member briefing. My name is Thomas Deere. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Engagement at the Chamber, and I have the privilege of being your host. A big thank you to each of you for joining us today, and thank you for your partnership with the Chamber. These sessions are designed to provide you with information, solutions, and connections needed to keep your businesses thriving. Today, you have joined in listen-only mode, with your microphones and your cameras are muted. We do encourage you to ask questions throughout the program using Zoom's chat box. I want to make a special shout out to our media sponsor today, the Cincinnati Business Courier, for their support of our monthly member briefings. Today's lineup is incredible, so let's get going. Please welcome Jill Meyer, President of the Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber. Jill?
Thank you, Thomas. Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be back here with you again this month, and I'm really excited for you to hear from our special guest, who not only is our board chair at the Chamber, but he is the CEO of altafiber. Let me say that again, the CEO of altafiber. Leigh Fox will tell us a lot about what is happening these days at altafiber, but let's put a rule in place just for fun. If you say, or if you hear me say the old name, somebody's putting $1 in the swear jar. We good? So altafiber, we'll get to you in just a minute, Leigh. But before we do that, we're going to flag just a few things for our members. Looking out my window here, I think we can say spring is here. Yesterday, I would have said it's not very obvious from Mother Nature, but technically, and it looks like there's blue sky. So today, spring has sprung. And more than spring weather, of course, what always tells us it's springtime in Cincinnati is opening day. And while we had a little bit of a delay to get there, we now are happy that our spring will kick off on Tuesday with an opening day that will be a little different, not only because it's delayed, but a fun twist to start a Red Legs opening day with the Cincinnati Bengals. So how's that to loop our Super Bowl playing Bengals into the start of another season for us all here at Great American Ballpark this season. Don't miss the game. Let's go out and celebrate the way that we do in Cincinnati. Let's celebrate the day. Let's head to the ballpark and let's really support and cheer for our Redlegs. They have a great season ahead, and join us as we head there on Tuesday to start it off. So not just the Reds, but at the Chamber, we have a ton going on right now. And we're revisiting our strategic plan and looking at all that we're executing here at the Chamber and delivering on behalf of our members. So as we look at that plan, we are constantly reminding ourselves this is to help our member businesses grow. And if it's not delivering value for our members, then we're not doing it. So our work is underway in so many different ways that I am not going to spend all the time going through the strategic plan, to be clear, but to tell you to make absolutely certain your membership is in place already, or you wouldn't be here. And our overall membership campaign is going very strongly. But if you know anybody who has not yet renewed or who you think might enjoy these sessions or some of the other things that we're making happen here at the Chamber, send them our way, and in fact, send them to Thomas Deere. Thomas is always happy to meet with new folks and let them know what's happening. There is one thing I do want to put high on your radar. Hopefully you have seen it already. Our applications for Leadership Cincinnati and for We Lead, which is the leadership program for women leaders, both applications are open now. If you know somebody who should be on our radar, who should be in one of those programs, send them to our website or send them our way. We love to spend time letting people understand the vital importance of those programs, not just for the individuals, but really for our entire community to continue growing and thriving. A footnote, you hopefully did see that we just hired a new vice president of our leadership center, and we are over the moon that Sean Comer will be joining us very soon to take over the reins of the whole leadership center, but also part of his responsibility is running the Leadership Cincinnati program itself. So let's make sure Sean's first class is the best class. Everybody claims it, but let's serve that one up for Sean. On a different note, I also want to put on your radar something that all of you can help make happen for our community, frankly, on a daily basis. Our Storefronts to the Forefronts program. It is in high gear. Thomas can tell you yesterday a group was in Ludlow, Kentucky, doing some filming to tell the community about this program. They were at Burkus Brewing. If you've not been there, do yourself a favor and go. I can't wait for you to see what happens there on the ad that we'll have coming up on Fox 19. But this Storefronts to the Forefront program is a partnership with Duke Energy, and the whole focus is on 11 different business districts throughout our region. We're trying to get people putting their attention on the very local neighborhood retail and economics that really do keep this region moving forward. So wherever you are across the region, look up on the Storefronts to the Forefront who we're featuring and get out there and support those businesses month by month. This is something we can all do. As I said, I'm not gonna click through so many of these things. What I do want to put in this, maybe this is a way to sum it up. Every Tuesday we send out an email, and our team works really hard to make sure that that thing is chock full of good information and data that you actually want to know. It's not just filling space. We curate that thing carefully each week to make sure you have what you want to know. And if you are not receiving that Tuesday email, sign up on our website. You definitely want to get that email. Also on LinkedIn, we have found that meeting places on LinkedIn have been a really great return for a lot of business community. And so our presence on LinkedIn is robust. I know many of yours is as well. But link up with us and let's keep that conversation going. All right, plenty more that we will get into, but let's now turn to let me introduce my boss, Leigh Fox. And I'm sure many of you know Leigh, and we are so fortunate that Leigh has been our board chair at the Chamber since January of 2021. And I'll tell you about his role at altafiber, of course I will, but here's what you should know is what an incredible leader he has been for us at the Chamber, which means an incredible leader for you too, as a member of the Chamber. He, of course, helped us navigate and get through the pandemic strongly. He has, even before then and continues after them, to provide such strong and practical support and guidance to me and to our whole team, really. The thing that we really appreciate about Leigh is how he has helped rally the business community around our current strategic plan and around our big initiatives. And when I say big, what we know is that Leigh Fox thinks big. That's bigger than big. He's really generous with his time and his resources to make sure he's investing in this community's long-term success, and we are all the better for it. And frankly, that's what he's doing at altafiber too. So altafiber, you now know, is a technology and innovation company that powers connection across our region. The word alta means elevated. And when you think about it, that is in fact what Leigh and his whole company do. They elevate the experience for businesses and consumers across the region. And I suspect Leigh might tell you that they are in the process of spending billions of dollars on new fiber installation in our region. That is a massive infrastructure investment. If you think about, just let that sit on you for a minute. But Leigh is positioning us to be the #1 city, say it again, the #1 city in the US for digital infrastructure, for access. And that should happen over the course of the next few years. So remember, I said Leigh is a big thinker. That is a big audacious goal for all of us, and we are so fortunate. The other thing Leigh is a great friend to me and to so many I know of you on the call. Thank you, Leigh, for all that you do for the Chamber and for taking the time to be here with us this morning. Welcome to our monthly member briefing, and I am turning the mic over to you.
Great, thank you, Jill. Good morning, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the intro, Jill. I don't know that I can say much more better than that, but I really do appreciate you guys having me this morning. I think it's important to understand what's happening, not just within, altafiber, but also what's happening as it relates to technology and how that technology and infrastructure influences the growth of the city and some of the work that the chamber is doing. So hopefully throughout my presentation, you get a better understanding of not only what we are doing as a company and what we're focused on, but how it relates to what all of us can be doing together to influence the growth of the city and the attraction of talent and the retainment of talent, the retention of talent in the city. So we can move to the first slide. So yes, as Jill mentioned, I was in New York yesterday, and I think I said the artist formerly known as Cincinnati Bell, altafiber. I want to spend a second. Jill mentioned the meaning of altafiber. The word alta meaning elevated, and then fiber. Fiber infrastructure is incredibly important to the future of I think every city and every location. It's why you see the news around infrastructure bills being released by the federal government, the amount of money being spent on infrastructure, the words digital equity, digital divide, digital landscape, everything digital. The digital age is here. We live in it, right? And so access to digital information is incredibly important. And effectively what we do is we are the plumbing behind that. And that's that simple. We build the infrastructure, and it's incredibly important that everyone has access to that structure. And so one of the first things that we did was 2 years ago, I think it was a little over 2 years ago now, we announced that we were taking the company private. So the first big thing that we really worked on was, how do we get more funding for digital infrastructure? We had done a great job as the local telephone company, in my mind, in investing in the future, but our investments could only take us so far as a public company. And so one of the challenges as I became the CEO that I had to solve for was capital and access to capital. And the public markets were not giving us the access to capital needed to really invest in the future in the ways that we felt were appropriate. And as Jill mentioned, the way I think is appropriate is that everyone in the region should have access to fiber infrastructure. So that's this fiber to the prem, whether to your business or to your home, there should be a fiber connection. The biggest, best internet pipe available, you should have access to it. And candidly, you should have access to more than one, but we'll just talk about ours right now. But it's incredibly important for digital equity and the access to information in the future that everyone has access to that pipe and that internet. So what we did was take the company private to gain access to capital that we could never have had access to. And as Jill mentioned, prior to taking the company private, we had spent just under $1 billion already in the city in laying down fiber. It's a very expensive proposition. Over the next 2 to 3 years, we will spend over $1 billion more between finishing Cincinnati and moving up into Dayton and then beyond. And so right now, if you look at our financial plans, we are looking to spend just over $2 billion in the next 4 years in our areas. And our areas include more than just Cincinnati. One of the things that we also realize is that scale matters. And unfortunately, as historic of a company as Cincinnati Bell is and has been, being a one city telephone company wasn't working. And so one of the things I pursued as a CEO was, how do we gain scale and become bigger? And in becoming larger, as you become larger, you take control of your destiny. And that's the biggest thing for me, was making sure that we could take control of our destiny and be the ones in the driver's seat. So we bought assets in Hawaii. We have a technology company through CBTS and Onyx. We have a technology company that spans North America and also throughout Canada. Today we have over 400 employees in Chennai, India, that do application development for our APO program. So we are truly leaning into innovation and the growth, and hence the name change. I like the word elevated. When we looked at different names. I love the word elevated, but I also really like the word fiber. And I really wanted people to understand and start to talk about and see the word fiber in front of them and understand why the infrastructure makes it, makes a difference in their lives. And I think some of the more humorous comments we got when we did the name change, and by the way, anytime you change an iconic name, we sort of knew what the responses we were going to get. And I would say for the most part, I've been pleasantly surprised. Things have been a lot more positive than candidly I expected. But some of the more humorous comments around fiber, comparing it to a Metamucil product, and things that I think eventually we're going to own, and like commercials or something about is your internet blocked, and somebody in a doctor's outfit. And but what I've told the team is, as these comments come up, what the great thing is, people are talking about the word fiber, right? And it matters. It matters because that fiber infrastructure, fiber and fiber optics, is basically passing data through light through glass. There is no faster medium, none. Physically, the physics behind it, there's no faster medium to deliver data than from light through glass, the speed of light. And putting this infrastructure out allows us to not only offer speeds that have formerly been unavailable, so gigabit plus speeds today, but allow us to continually upgrade the infrastructure over the next several decades, candidly, to meet any needs in technology in the future. And right now we're talking about 10 gig speeds. Now, who would use 10 gig speeds in their home? I would scratch my head on what's happening at home, but it's possible, right? And if we know anything about technology, the pace of technology change through Moore's law is exponential. So I can say one thing: we have constantly, as a technology industry, forecasted the pace of change and the pace of data usage over the past several years, and there's only been one constant. We have been wrong on every forecast, exponentially wrong on the low end. It is always higher and higher and higher than we ever predict. And so that's why this infrastructure is so important, is getting access. And that's why the name change, candidly, was so important, because we're taking the company beyond Cincinnati in order to grow, in order to become larger, in order to take control of our destiny, to make sure that we are here for the next, we're a 150-year-old company. We tell our employees, part of our job is to make sure we're here for another 150 years. Next slide. So I think we've covered this. We really do consider ourselves the delivery mechanism of technology, right? We are the plumbing in which technology is delivered. A lot of the services that we provide, whether in the technology services space where we do B2B interactions, or on the infrastructure, the pure infrastructure place, we deal a lot in connecting and connections and making sure that people have reliable connections to whatever they want to do, and the best connections available. And it does take a lot of investment. We are investing billions of dollars, not just in the infrastructure, but also in improving customer service. And so another big mantra of mine is when the infrastructure is in the ground and it's done, the thing that you win on is customer service, ease of doing business with, simplicity. And simplicity, that word simple is an interesting word, especially for a telephone company. A 150-year-old telephone company is not a simple company. We are probably one of the more complicated ecosystems that you'll ever see. When people come in from the outside in, they start to look at what we do, they're always amazed at how complicated things are. And part of my job and the job of our executives over the past few years and well into the future is going to be, how do we simplify that? How do we simplify the interactions with customers? How do we simplify interactions with the community? I am a huge fan of simple. And the whole quote from Einstein is one of my favorites, and I'm not going to say the quote, but I'll paraphrase. But any ignorant fool can make anything more complex. It takes a touch of real genius to make something simple, and I really believe in that. Right? It is incumbent on us to make things simple. To if you're in an industry, it doesn't make you smarter or to make things more complex, or true intelligence comes from making it simple so that everyone can understand it, everyone can interact with it in any way that they want. And that's really the goal of our company over the next several years. Next slide. So we have a history of innovation, something that we're very proud of here within the company, and I think Cincinnati in general should be very proud of. You have a company that is localized as we were, has a massive history in innovation, and it's a credit to all of those who came before me in my time, and hopefully this continues through well beyond me. We started building fiber in 2008. So we've been doing this for a very long time. So hence the $1 billion we've already spent. We've been doing this and putting down infrastructure for a very long time. One of the things missing here, we launched our technology solutions company in 2010, but we also spun out a data center business. In our 2002, we launched CBTS, but in 2010, we spun out a data center business that became a massive data center brand in the country. And that came from Cincinnati Bell, a real localized company. Convergys, CBIS, some of the companies today that don't exist but existed for a while, that have become something else. They started here in Cincinnati, right? So we have a history of innovation, and it is what honestly gave me the sort of empowered me to want to look to expand well beyond our borders. Because candidly, in Cincinnati, we have a world-class team. We have world-class talent. We have world-class talent in Cincinnati. And that's something that, I think we're a very humble community, but it's something that I think all of us should understand. In Cincinnati, you have some of the best talent in whatever industry available. And we as a company constantly prove that in our industry and our sector. We were constantly looked at as being on the forefront of everything. In fiber, a lot of what we're doing today, people still point to it in our industry as, well, Cincinnati Bell did it, altafiber did it, right? We have a world-class team. So one of the things I tell my company is, you should not be afraid of taking that world-class talent and expanding it, right? And growing that, and giving that world-class talent the opportunity and ability to grow. So that's what we'll continue to do in the future. We are in a very transformational phase. The company that we are today, I can guarantee you, we do not look like this company 3 years from now. We will be much bigger. And that is the goal. Again, the goal is to growth and size. With growth and scale, you take control of your destiny. And that is the end goal. And as a Cincinnati kid, a guy that was born and raised here in Cincinnati, my personal goal for the company is to have a much larger organization, be headquartered here in Cincinnati. And whether that organization's private or it eventually goes public again, it sits here in Cincinnati. Its headquarters is here in Cincinnati. And again, it has another 150-year-old runway that it can go and do great things for well into the future, well beyond me and my time. Digital equity. I spoke about this a little bit, but this is a big, big mantra for us. As the plumbers of this technology, it's incumbent on us to make sure that everyone has access. And one of the things that I tell our employees is, access to the internet is hope for a child, right? You think about the information that you can get on the internet today versus what you could get 10 years ago. You can get access to any information on the internet, whether it be education, your job, access to look how we're communicating today. You can get access to medicine. It is incredibly important to the future of the city, our region, and it really drives hope. And so part of what we focus on as a company, and we make sure we are doing, is we are working not only in getting the infrastructure out, but how do we make it not just ubiquitous, but also affordable for those who can't afford it. And so that's a big part of digital equity. For me, digital equity has two components: access and affordability. And we as a company, we have an obligation as the plumbers to work on those two things. And as we expand in the region, that's one of the things that we will continue to do. We've done some, great work. Our teams have, I'm so proud of some of the things our teams have done, and working with Cincinnati Public Schools, a great partner of ours, and giving access to the students that, candidly, they sort of lost touch with, in the beginning of the pandemic, helping them get access to those students. We'll continue to do more programs, but, like free Wi-Fi access. I was just and I think there's a picture in the later on in the deck of, I was cutting the ribbon. Yeah, there it is. With the lieutenant governor, where we, partnered with, public funds to offer free Wi-Fi in Mount Healthy. And, that was an example of just a few sites in Mount Healthy. But today we have over 1,000 free Wi-Fi sites in Cincinnati. And so that's public Wi-Fi that's free, that we could only get done through public-private partnerships. And that's the other thing that's important. And as you see all this federal money coming out, the federal money isn't there to pay for the infrastructure. The federal money is really there to augment the two things that I mentioned: access and affordability. Access, the way it's augmenting access is it pays for sort of the 20% of a build in areas where we candidly as a company can't afford it. We're still a company, we may not be public in the public, publicly traded on Wall Street, but I still have investors. I run a for-profit company. I don't run a 501c3. I have to make money. As a part of this, we're very good at analyzing, as we build and spend a lot of money, will we ever make money? So if I build to a home, do I ever make money? It's an important part. Those public funds cover, basically, I can cover 80% of it. They cover the 20% I can't. So those funds are incredibly important. So in the future, making sure that we have access to and partnerships with public institutions is incredibly important for access, and then also affordability. And then, adding through smart city applications, we partner also with cities and communities to make sure that they're using the access correctly. Or they're thinking about the access correctly. A lot of what we do, we are the experts at what we do. I have incredibly intelligent, people much smarter than I am working for me, and I, in making sure that talent works with cities, communities, municipalities to make sure that they think about infrastructure and the use of infrastructure and how infrastructure can change the lives in the community, whether it's through access to, to free Wi-Fi, or it's applications that can be used over that infrastructure to help make the municipalities or cities more effective and efficient. That's a lot of what we do also in putting the infrastructure out. So access, digital equity, access and affordability, public and private partnerships, and then adding basically an application layer on how do you apply that technology into these communities is incredibly important to what we do, and it's sort of the hallmark of what we do. And then lastly, giving back to the community. I am a big culture person. We are very fortunate to live in Cincinnati and do what we do here in the community. And as a technology company, we have to have access to talent. We have to have access to talent, not just talent that we've had for a long time, but new talent, young people. We work very heavily in our communities to make sure that we give back, that we're seen in the community, that we're seen as being belonging, whether it's here in Cincinnati or candidly, we do the same thing in Hawaii, and we do the same thing in other areas that we interact in. It is a community first organization and approach. And it's important because the growth of the community allows us to grow. It allows us to get access to talent. And that's why, in connecting with what the Chamber does, and what you guys belong to with, as member organizations is so incredibly important. We are the organizations that work with the Chamber to help this community grow. And that growth allows access to talent, a retention of talent, and especially in the technology space, that talent is so critical. As much as we like to say our company is, it's about fiber, it's about infrastructure, our company is truly about the people. I can't get any of this done without talent. I can't get any of that connection. I can't get that infrastructure built. I can't solve the problems around digital equity and public and private partnerships. And I can't educate communities on how to apply that infrastructure without the talent involved in every one of those steps. And having a strong chamber, having a strong community allows us to make sure that we're growing and we have access and we have the retention of talent. And so I would encourage all of you to continue to be involved. It's the reason I'm so involved. I'm involved because I love what the chamber does. I love what they have been doing for this community. I love the pillars of their strategy, and I think the pillars of their strategy are so important for the future of the city. We are in a competition for talent. Don't be mistaken. It is a competition, and the cities that we are competing with look at us as a competition. So it's incumbent on us to make sure that we continue to work together to make this this community thrive, and that's what the chamber helps us do. And I really appreciate the membership, your partnership, and your willingness to work with the chamber to help us grow this community. And I would please encourage you to keep being involved. The best thing you can do is not just be a member of the chamber, but please get involved. It is incredibly important. Thanks so much.
Leigh, thank you. Wow, I cannot add anything to what you just said, except to say to everybody else, you see why we love having Leigh as our board chair. He is doing big things, big things, and he's doing them in a way that benefits all of us. And that is not an easy feat. So one quick comment before we do something fun. We're not going to have Q&A today because we have something else to tee up quickly, but you heard Leigh say that he is building out altafiber to be a big company based in Cincinnati. You like how the first place he went was Hawaii? That's a guy who's thinking. He's a smart, big thinker. Hawaii, yes, sir. Thank you. Hey, so what we're going to do that's a little bit different than the norm is if you came to our annual dinner, you know that we gave away a bunch of airline tickets and vouchers, which was super cool. And we're going to extend that fun to today's meeting right now. I know Seth Cutter's on the line, so CVG is in the house. Thank you, Seth, for being here in your partnership. We love sending people through our great airport to keep commerce moving that way as well. What we're going to do is you, as being signed on, are already entered into the drawing for. It's 2 vouchers that are, I think, 50,000 points on American, which is the equivalent of 2 round trip flights somewhere here in the US. So stay closely tuned right now. Leigh is going to pick a number, I believe, between 1 and 65. And Leigh will pick the number, and then Spencer Mapes, my colleague, will come on and tell you if it is you. This is based on the order of registration. So Leigh, you want to pick a number?
I sure will. We'll pick the number 49.
49 it is.
One moment, just making sure they are on. All right, Leigh, I'm going to ask you to pick another number.
Oh, somebody missed the boat.
Sorry, number 49. Let's go with the number 18.
All right, that person is on.
The drum roll.
And the winner is Jason Leda. Jason, I will be reaching out to you shortly on how to get those tickets. So congratulations and thanks for joining us this morning. Jason Leda, I will be reaching out to you. And the program continues with Thomas Deere.
Thank you, Spencer. Leigh, that was great. Thank you for all you do for the chamber and for our region. You're a true leader, and we sure appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to introduce 2 chamber members who have been making an impact in our community. This morning, you'll hear from Interest IT and Joe Lewis and Telemetrics Yuri Brown Cruzar. First up is Joe Lewis, the Business Development Manager at Interest IT. Joe grew up in a family that trained horses, and that early vocation is fitting for someone the industry calls the client whisperer. Joe combines honesty with expert guidance. Interest IT clients repeatedly say that Joe's ability to listen is what makes him so valuable when they're looking for direction, security, and answers. Interest IT not only understands you, but also gets back to you. They are hyper-focused on clients' needs. When you work with Interest IT, you benefit from their team approach. And let me tell you about that. In 2019, Interest IT became a certified employee-owned. That means the Interest IT employees, everyone's an owner. And what better security? Clients would benefit from knowing that when they call Interest IT, they're always going to talk to an owner who has skin in the game. Joe, we're excited to hear more. Take it away.
Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Well, I'm going to try to pull up my little brochure here so you guys can have a visual. And it doesn't seem to be working for me right now. Oh, there we go. And this, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Good morning. Again, my name is Joe Lewis. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Interest IT, we've been around. This is our 30th anniversary as a company. So we're actually going to be having a celebration of that here as the spring moves forward. But Tim started the company 30 years ago, primarily to pay for college. He was an engineering student at University of Cincinnati. And things kind of took off on him. So Tim never actually finished college, but he's done okay for himself. We did about $10 million last year. In addition to becoming an ESOP, we acquired 3 other companies over the last 18 months. So we've grown, we've more than doubled in size since the pandemic started. So it's been a wild time for us here. Let's see. We do primarily 3 different products that we offer. The first one being essential care, which is basically if you're a very small employee and you just need the very basics, just monitoring somebody to do updates for you, and then an hour or 2 for each month so that you can just have somebody to call if something breaks. So that's actually a very, very new product for us, and we're kind of ironing out the details on that one, but it's going very, very well. The next product would be our enterprise care, which if you are a larger employer, you have an IT staff, but if that IT staff needs some support, maybe they need somebody to do the day-to-day updating, patching, monitoring, things like that of your network, while that person works on keeping production going, what have you. You can call us and we can kind of work out the details with you. We can provide as much support as you want, and then we can do specific things. So a good example of that, we do the updating, we do the patching, we do the monitoring, and then we sell you a pool of hours. Now that pool of hours is flexible. So if you guys decide that, a great example would be Lakota School Districts. They're one of our clients. During the school year, they don't want people like us in the building, obviously. So they may have a very small pool of hours. And then as soon as school lets out, they come back to us and say, hey, we need to bump that up to $10,000 a month so that you guys can come in and do all the, update all the equipment, do everything that you need to do. And then when the school year starts again, they just lower that pool of hours, to whatever makes the most sense for them. So it's a real fair deal, because basically anything you use, any hours you don't use rolls over. Any hours that you do use, or anytime you go over, we bill you at a lower hourly rate. At the end of the year, any hours that are left over, you can take those hours and put those towards a project. So it's a really fair way for a company to use our services. The last service that we have is called a complete care service. And that's what we do most of. So we become your IT department. So anything that you would pick up the phone and call an IT manager for today, you can call us. About 95% of what we do is done remotely. The rest, we have somebody hop in a car and come out and see you. And that can be for anything from, hey, I hit my button and my blue, or I'm getting a blue screen, or hey, my whole network is down, I need help right now. So you guys can call us for pretty much anything, and we'll take care of it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the building blocks here that you see in front of you of a good IT setup. The bottom four, the facility, the infrastructure, the platforms, the applications. There's a lot of good IT companies that can help you with those things. And obviously we're one of them, but where we tend to shine are the top four. And that is starting with, again, the bottom, your data. We understand that the company's data is the most important thing that they have. That's their business. So we do a number of things to make sure that we protect that data. Number one, it says backup here. I like to call it a business continuity tool. We use something called Datto, which is basically, it takes hourly snapshots of your environment. Then it stores it locally. And then when you go home at night, it sends it to 2 different storage facilities. So at any given time, you've got 3 copies of your data. So if something were to happen and your building weren't there the next day, it's easy for us to pull from one of the two locations and get you set up the next morning at a different location. So your business will be up and running. Cybersecurity is another thing that we are very, very, very aware of right now. Aware of, it doesn't sound like the right word, but that's where we're going to go. It's something that we focus on. Every morning we get up and we track how many breaches, how many days without a breach that we've had. And we've had a lot of success with that. I think of the 2,500 endpoints that we're currently managing, I think we are the longest we've gone is like 177 days without a breach. And the only reason we didn't continue that streak was one of the companies we brought on in an acquisition did not take our advice and install 2-factor authentication. So we're getting more insistent that people do that when they come on board. The next block up is our people. Take a lot of pride in our people. Our help desk is second to none. They're just a great bunch of people. Right now, we've got about 40 people on our help desk. They're basically, when you call in, if you have an issue, they can, when you initially call in, you're going to get a dispatcher. That dispatcher is going to determine the nature of your issue and then send you to the proper person in our organization to initiate the ticket. Now, obviously, we don't have people just sitting around waiting for people to call in. So, oh, something just happened. My screen just disappeared. So what happens is that dispatcher will then will tell you, hey, John is the right person to take care of you here. He's with another customer, but he should be freed up around 10 o'clock. So, it's on our radar, you have a pretty good idea when we're going to have somebody get back to you. So it's really it's a good way just to let the customer know that, yes, we are working on it. Training, we do provide training to, it goes actually 2 ways. One, we provide training to our clients on anything Microsoft. So if you are a client of ours and you want to learn about Office 365, or you want to learn about cybersecurity, or you want fish testing, things like that, we can take care of that for you. And Tom, let me know if I'm running over, because I can blab all day.
I think, Joel, this is great. If you're ready to wrap it up, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, I'll say one last thing, and I think this is really the key to our business, is the strategy piece. We have every client is assigned a client success manager, and we call them that because there's a book of the same name. And the first question they should ask you is, what does success in our relationship look like? Is it just getting a return phone call real quick, or is it, hey, I just absolutely cannot have downtime? that person is assigned to your account to help you with budgeting, planning, and to make sure that whatever your expectations are, that they're being met. So with that, I'm going to stop blabbing because I could sit here for an hour.
Joe, thank you so much. What better way to get peace of mind than talking with an owner every time you call in? Joe, thank you for your time, and thank you to Intrust IT for your partnership.
Thank you very much for being there.
Thank you. Next up is Yuri Brown Cruzart, the EVP of Customer Service for Telemetrics. Yuri has a 25-year track record of designing D&I performance metrics, strategies, and processes and systems for Fortune 50, 100, and 500 global corporations. Her incredible background includes serving as a Vice President of Workplace Culture, Chief Diversity Officer for Fannie Mae and the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, and as an external principal consultant. Telemetrics is an employee feedback and analytics company that humanizes data to help organizations produce and leverage insights to improve employee and organizational performance. Telemetrics values are collaboration, inclusion, innovation, integrity, and customer focus. Yuri, tell us more.
Thank you so much, Tom. This has been a wonderful morning. Thank you everyone for coming today. I just wanted to speak a little bit around Telemetrics and just kind of the environment that we're finding ourselves in as leaders and employers. There's so much going on, socio-political environment that is causing us to have to think about what the future of work looks like and how we treat our employees. We're dealing with the great resignation, and as Leigh was talking about earlier, talent is important. So it's important for us to know what our talent is thinking. So Telemetrics is a talent intelligence platform that allows us to be able to capture really relevant information around the employee lifecycle and also around workplace culture. And that's coupled with us providing strategic insights that inform practical solutions. So our technology allows us to have relevant feedback as well as track intelligence time over time that gives you insights to what is going on with your people. Our solutions combine science and practitioners that help us to look and focus on unique talent outcomes that are predictors in the market, predictors in your employee base around productivity and retention. Leigh mentioned something about being in the driver's seat, and that's what we do. We help leaders and organizations be in the driver's seat of knowing how to respond to their employee base. And then our services allow us to find the signal in the noise. That's how we like to say that. There's so much that's swirling around diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, that what does it all mean and how do I respond to it as an organization? Next slide, please. So our feedback capabilities allow us to take validated libraries and constructs through our IO psychologists and data scientists who work in my organization, and practitioners that allow us to look at engagement, DEI, climate, the future of work, and management effectiveness, just to name a few things. But getting to the heart of the matter so that we really capture the data that matters. Next slide, please. And on our intelligence platform, we look at structured and unstructured data and are able to aggregate it in such a way that it is meaningful for you. Wouldn't you all love to know? I mean, I know as a leader, it's hard sometimes to know exactly how to respond to employee issues. It's more than just engagement. It's being able to have, insights around what people are really experiencing in the workplace. We like to define engagement as really the vitality with which someone has the capacity to do good work. And we look at it from a space of immersion as well. Are people immersed in their work in such a way that they're bringing their full selves to work, they're bringing their full skills and capabilities and knowledge to bear that allow us to work around shared objectives and a shared mission? So our intelligence platform gives us that time over time view of what people are experiencing, what the mobility in the organization, what is the voice of the employee, and that can be on an ongoing basis so that you actually have that fiber, that connectivity that Leigh was talking about, that allows you to understand what is actually the thread of experience for your employees. We all know that data doesn't matter unless you can humanize it. So being able to capture all this information means nothing until it becomes applicable. And Telemetrics is here to be able to help leaders and organizations to really hone their data in such a way that allows them to come up with strategic insights and build capabilities for the organization so that they have high-level, high-performing work teams. So I just wanted to share that with you today. I won't go through all those details. You can go to the last page for my contact if you'd like to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm Yuri@telemetrics.com. I'm excited to be a part of this organization and team, and excited to be able to be a member of the Chamber.
Yuri, thank you. That was terrific. Thank you for making us part of your day and telling us more about Telemetrics. I want to thank these members for being part of our monthly member briefing. If you are interested in being part of the monthly member briefing, please go to cincinnatiChamber.com/monthly member briefings and submit an interest form or reach out to me. We're always looking for folks, and we'd love to hear from you. Switching gears, the Cincinnati Regional Chamber has a total of 10 benefit partners that enhance your business on an everyday basis. For our benefit partner, we're excited to have Gary Swantner, the manager of Good Energy, who is our energy savings partner. Gary has been the lead for the Chamber Energy Program for over 7 years and has worked with hundreds of Cincinnati Chamber members. He has a background in chemical and biomedical engineering and loves creating data-driven options for our Chamber members. Good Energy is well respected in the industry, and they leverage those relationships and experience in the market. Gary, welcome, and show us how easy it is to save.
Great, thank you, Thomas. Spencer, can we go to the video? So we've created a short video with a brief overview of the Chamber Energy Program that we'll show, and then I'll make a few comments afterwards.
Cincinnati USA Regional Chamber members in Ohio can take advantage of deregulated energy markets through the Chamber Energy Program. Most members in Ohio receive electricity and natural gas service through Duke Energy, the utility company in Southwest Ohio. If you participate in the program, Duke Energy will continue to be your utility by maintaining the poles and wires, along with managing your billing. As part of your Chamber membership, you can receive an annual evaluation of your energy spending by our partner, Good Energy, who has more than 15 years of experience working with the Cincinnati Chamber members. They'll see that you're on the right track and help you make the best decisions for your business needs. The Chamber Energy Program leverages the combined buying power of its members to get better rates. By participating in the program, you're also supporting Cincinnati Chamber programs and events that benefit local businesses like yours. It's a winning combination for businesses in the Cincinnati region. The goal of the program is for members to choose an alternative supplier to save money or to use more renewable energy than what is required by the state of Ohio. Sometimes we can do both, from large manufacturers to the neighborhood restaurant. If you directly pay your utility bills, the Chamber Energy Program may be able to help you lower your operating expenses. Let's take a look at your bill. By selecting an alternative supplier, you will only change the amount you pay for each commodity in the supply portion of your bill. Duke will continue to bill for the delivery of electricity and natural gas and provide service as they always have. Please visit our website for more information. You can upload your bills to begin your free evaluation and start taking control of your energy expenses. Our consultant, Good Energy, is ready to answer all of your questions.
Thank you for that. So the energy markets have changed significantly over the past decade, and even more so over the past 2 years, and we have to continue to change with them. The Chamber Energy Program is here to help members make informed decisions about their electricity and natural gas usage, which is something that can kind of fall by the wayside and becomes just something that people don't really pay attention to, but it is a very important part of running your business. We've seen energy quickly become one of the largest operational expenses for many businesses, and our goal is to help members manage those expenses quite regularly. We have found this program can offset most, if not all, of Chamber membership. And when combined with the other amazing partner programs offered by the Chamber, Chamber membership quickly pays for itself. As the video mentions, this program currently only applies to members in Ohio, just based on laws of deregulation. It's worth noting this program does not compete with Duke Energy, but it is a complement to Duke Energy. If your business pays a utility bill, it's worth the time to have our team provide an evaluation to see where you are, how things are going. We've seen many times that a company has forgotten or unaware of their current contract status, what they're paying. something that somebody signed a contract years ago, and we can get people back on track and lower those costs. We take a true consultative approach to this program. We know that every business is unique and different, and every business has different priorities and how they run their business. So we do not run this as a one-size-fits-all type of program. If you are a large user of electricity or natural gas, we highly encourage you to look at this program as you have had to become more savvy with your procurement strategies, especially with the commodity part. And the focus has shifted more or less away from savings as it is to, at this point, risk management with the volatility in the market. So with that, thank you for your time, and thank you everybody for attending the monthly member briefing.
Gary, thank you. I got to tell you, when you talk to Gary, there's two outcomes. Number one, you're going to save money, or number two, you're going to get peace of mind. You're going to find out, hey, the program you're under works. So there's two great outcomes. There's no cost. It's very easy. I encourage you to connect with us so we can connect with Gary and take them up on their offer. It takes one simple phone call or one simple email for saving money or peace of mind. Thank you, Gary and Good Energy, for your partnership.
Thanks, Thomas.
Joining us now is our very own Christina Masali. Christina is the director of the talent pipeline at the Chamber. She has scaled programs such as work-based learning offerings with our local high schools, implemented and scaled Apprentice Cincinnati to 12 hiring partners and almost 100 apprentices, and served as a key partner with the CIO Roundtable and Inter-Alliance on the tech talent ecosystem. Christina also oversees our talent attraction efforts to scale strategic programs that engage young professionals and new members of our region. Christina, tell us more what you're working on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Thomas. Excited to be here and share a little bit more about what's going on with our talent pipeline. For the sake of today's conversation and time, we're going to focus on some of the tactical programming that we're doing here at the Chamber to expand and diversify our talent base, and some of our larger attraction programs, and some that are really specific to tech and digital skills. On our next slide, I shared a couple snippets around some of the news that we've seen lately. As Leigh noted in our keynote, tech and digitally skilled talent are really high in demand. But as he also said, we're lucky that Ohio and the Cincinnati region are really known for being innovative in how we approach these things. So we're going to talk through a couple of our solutions that we're working on here today. As we look at our goals for 2022, we're obviously focusing in on supply and demand. So kind of looking a little bit about how we can retain the amazing talent that we have, and then also build new programs and offerings. So a couple of the programs that we have here listed on the left-hand side focused a little bit more on that talent retention component. Two that I will note because they are time sensitive, we do have an upcoming Cincy Chat next week. That's designed to really attract and retain a lot of the great professionals that are already here by sharing more of some hidden gems in the city and telling some stories that are really unique to our region. Next week's is actually focused on digital upskilling and reskilling. A little bit here today, as Spencer's showing on our next slide, our Apprentice Cincinnati program. This is a registered apprenticeship program designed to expand and retain tech talent. So focused specifically on women, minorities, and veterans. We actually were able to host the Lieutenant Governor this past week in preparation for In-Demand Jobs Week, as all of these tech careers take less than a year to complete and all pay $50,000 or more without taking on any debt. We actually have 12 different hiring partners here within the region that are a part of our group for Apprentice Cincinnati, and we're always looking to include more. On our next slide, we have a little bit more about some of our community partners in the region. So here at the Chamber, we work really closely with the CIO Roundtable, as well as Inter-Alliance, who focuses in on our high school STEM pipelines. So we're working together as a group to ensure that we are scaling and all of the different offerings here in our region. We have about 100 different reskilling programs in the area. So for members of the Chamber, we can help you navigate those and see which ones might meet your needs, and then also have conversations about what are some additional programs that we might look at to help really grow our region. My call to action for everyone today, and I know that we're running tight on time, would really be to engage with us on these programs. As Leigh said, it's going to take all of us to make sure that we're building the talent pipelines for the next companies that are going to be coming here, but also ensuring the success of all of our members like you. And we really want to make sure that we put Cincinnati, I should say, continue to keep Cincinnati on the map as an innovation district. So please join us. We're actively looking for volunteers to engage with some of our SYNC programming and also our Apprentice Cincinnati groups. So I'll turn it back over to you, Thomas.
Thank you, Christina, for the presentation, and thank you for your passion for the region, all of your and your team's hard work that you've done. We sure appreciate that. And if you have any more questions for Christina, feel free to reach out or put in the chat. We'd love to get back to you. Thank you, Christina. So thank you for today. I just want to hit touch on a couple items that are coming up. We have our Cincy chat that was mentioned earlier, a Navigating a Career Change, which is April 13th from 11:30 to 1. We encourage you to attend. This is a new program. On April 26th, we have an alumni event, Crayons to Computers, the 25th anniversary from 4:30 to 6:30. And on May 19th, we're going to have our Membership Benefits 101, where you'll learn how to get the most out of your membership. This would be a combination of in-person at the chamber and Zoom. We want to make sure we give everybody ample opportunity to be there. Finally, on May 5th, join us for our next monthly member briefing. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the week. And as Jill said, let's get out there and support our Reds on opening day and throughout the season. Thank you, everybody.